Okay, welcome SSDA Nation. I got a great 10, 15-minute video we want to share with you. So let's do some introductions of our panel, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do. You guys know I'm Tim Taylor, the Executive Director, and with us is Nicole. Nicole, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nicole Newman. I'm the Superintendent of the Wheatland Union High School District and also on the Executive Board of SSDA.
Good seeing you, Nicole. Rob?
Good morning. I'm Robert Laird. I'm the Vice President of Medea Medical Products located out in Silicon Valley, Pleasanton area, but I happen to live just outside Sacramento in the Buckeye School District. And we represent a few different tests. One we're going to talk about today that can be utilized for schools specifically on a really fast-paced rapid antigen test, so you can utilize it in-house and not have a delay and get results that you need.
Good stuff. Yeah, SSDA Nation, look, a lot of you have been calling me freaking out, especially with sports kicking in, about the what a pain it is to do the 2-day test. I know Nicole told me that she had to quickly run the test down to Sacramento to get them in on time so the kids can play. So I decided that night at 2 a.m. to reach out and see how does pro sports do these instant tests, and it led me a journey to Rob, because I think this is the way I would do all testing on my school, but to me, with the sports especially, you don't want to leave a kid out of a game and then have that nightmare go on. So, Rob, tell us what you got, and some of the people you work with throughout the country. And thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
You got it, of course. So we were a tech company by trade since 2014, and we shifted over to PPE in 2020. We do have 21 athletic shareholders as part of our group, so we were able to get in bed with large groups like the NHL. A lot of our NBA teams. We have Shaquille O'Neal's a big shareholder. So that was great for us to get into some of those networks utilizing the CareStart rapid antigen test. Okay, so that test is administered with a CLIA waiver. We're able to have it in-house. So you don't have to have a high complexity lab where you're going 24 hours or 48 hours to get results. And the cost on it's very, very low. So it takes no time to administer, 10 minutes for the results. And we, instead of using the PCR test, which was the gold standard, basically, but it was giving us too complexity or too many false positives with that test, meaning we're getting students coming back positive that maybe are no longer contagious, and then we're pulling them from sports and pulling them from school. So we want to avoid that as best we can. We want to look at the contagious level of the virus, and that is what this test does. So the CareStart Access Biotest is what we have to offer. It is the only EUA US manufactured test, which is fantastic. And our price point is very close to what the Abbott test is. You've seen LA County is now administering those into their school districts at a pretty low price point, and we're very close to that. So yeah, that's been our push right now for our sports and entertainment, is to go to that rapid antigen CareStart test.
Rob, so let me envision this. You played at Oak Ridge, so you line up all the kids to be tested, and basically, is it self-administered, or should you have someone else administer that? So they're all lined up, and then you take the test. What happens?
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. So typically, with the CLIA waiver product, we're going to utilize either a practitioner to administer the test. It's very simple. We use a mid-nasal swab, which is non-invasive now. CareStart just launched that, which we're going to be offering to all of our school districts. We're already in Torrance, Central, and San Juan with that particular product. So it's not going to be too invasive for the students. Prior testing was a pharyngeal, which was not pleasant to take, I'll be honest with you. And the idea behind wrapping our arms around this is more rapid testing. So hopefully twice a week, right, without having a delay. And we use our practitioners, or we can staff for you. So to give you an idea, our CMO, which is our Chief Medical Officer, is Dr. Scott Miskovich. He handled the entire SEC NCAA testing.
Wow.
So he's done over 2 million tests in the schools. They didn't miss any of their fall sports. And he's been on our advisory board all along. So depending on your district's need, either existing staffing, so your nurse practitioners or anything can administer, and we can help with that, or we can actually, on a larger scale, or if you have a larger district that needs it, we can help staff that.
Yeah, so basically, they swab, and then what happens? So we're pretty simple in rural school. We don't need a lot of.
That's what's great about this text. They come in boxes of 20. Everything you need is individually wrapped. We administer a quick swab. We actually put it into the buffer. We give it a twirl. We drop a couple of droplets onto the cassette that gives a very clear reading in about 6 to 7 minutes.
Wow.
That's it. Away you go. And the specificity and the sensitivity is through the roof on these. And what's more important is when we look at the false positive ratings, it's under 1% false positive. And that's what we want to avoid. Because we continue to see the PCR science is so specific as it spins the DNA of the virus. We're picking up non-viral transmitted contagions that are no longer contagious. So it's showing me as maybe having the virus a month after maybe I had it and I'm still contagious. So I'm being pulled off of the field or pulled out of class, and we need to avoid that. And then we're going to, so the rapid antigen test, as you can tell, is going to be the gold standard going forward for screening.
Yeah, Nicole has really modernized her school at Wheatland. It's unbelievable what they've done over there. But she has a lot of people coming from the outside that float in, right? And so I talked to a superintendent up in Thermalito and said, you know what, I'd like to have these for these vendors that come on.
Sure.
Especially as they go into our classrooms, do air conditioning and have them swabbed up, because my staff talks about that. Like, hey, is that person false positive? So it's not just sports. I guess
it's a wonderful screening tool. We're keeping the cost, well under $10. Even with this test, to give you an idea, this test typically would go for mid-20s to the outsiders. So I've worked with Intrivo, who is the U.S. manufacturer for this test. It is top of the line. It's not made in China like Abbott. It's made right in New Jersey. And they worked with pricing for a breakdown just for SSDA. I just got off that call this morning. So we're excited to get in as many of the districts as we can and show you how easy it is to use and cost effective it can be, for sure.
So
Nicole,
Rob, one of the questions that we have, and the one reason we, I guess, can say that I like the process that we're currently using is because of the confidentiality piece.
Sure.
I'm concerned, and you can just walk me through what it would look like, but I get concerned when you test in open spaces and they're rapid results, just because you don't want kids targeted in the event that they are positive. And they're test to shut down. So what does it look like? I mean, it was, I'm going to be honest, it was a mess on Monday. We had right out my window, there was like a mile-long line. They were all 6 feet apart. It took forever to get it done, and then we had to put them in, our health aides, and they had to put them in the bag to drive them to Sacramento.
And then you're with So just your sample collection alone.
It comes on a dashboard directly to us, and the parents get the results. So nobody would know at that moment if the kid was positive or not.
Yes, and so CareStart, which is manufactured by Intrivo, has that exact system. So it's a HIPAA compliant, fully confidential, and we can make the dashboard very specific to each district on what it is you want to show for the results. It can go to your headquarters so you can see which students are which, and it can also get relayed basically by just a code. So we're not getting a bunch of student information out. They're going to have basically a code for that particular individual, and then that's going to go to your admin and then also to the student or the parent. So we're very agile in some instances, like when we did the Shack Bowl, which was just for the Super Bowl, we went ahead and we tested everybody for that event, which was similar to a school. We had about 1,000 people. These are all professional athletes and stars, doing a live broadcast, but they needed to have hopefully a clean site to do that. So we tested everybody through there. They got the results within 10 minutes, and then they were alerted via their application or the app, basically, that they were clear to go. So we can work either app, we can work through an admin platform where you have your own login, and that'll tell you which student is and which is not, without having, to alert everybody online.
So
go ahead, Nicole.
You swab their nose. You stick it in whatever it is you're sticking it in, so it tells you whether it's positive or not, right? And then how does the information go to the dashboard?
Obviously, your health and
I'm assuming the players go on about their merry way, right?
They do, yes. And then your admin or whoever's administering the test is going to do a quick upload into the platform. Yeah, and it's all attached to the QR. If I can share my screen, I'll show you kind of exactly what that looks like. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Let's see.
Tim might not know how to let.
Host
the screen.
disabled participation.
Oh, here, thanks,
That's
Nicole.
okay. Sorry.
Multiple,
Tested.
I just did it. There we go.
There you go. I was testing your.
Yeah, don't test too deep. And Rob, I heard also in some cases, especially with the teachers, they can get an instant text of the results, right?
They can, yeah. Intrivo is fantastic to work with. Okay, so
Yeah.
they're the manufacturer of the test. Like I said, they work very close with us because we're doing so much in our network with them. Through Carnival Cruise Line and NHL and MLS, that they're constantly evolving and helping us out with best practices, right? And it's going to continue to evolve. So don't think for an instance that we're just going to get this right and then we're going to be done. We're going to continue to streamline the whole process, and that's what you guys need. Is you need a company that's going to continue to bring kind of state-of-the-art implementation and technology along with the actual product itself. So to give you an idea, Intrivo did a case study with the University of Wisconsin where they went testing twice a week, okay, mandatory. And this was on-site students and employees to help give it kind of a bubble effect onto the campus. And they were able to drop overall positivity rates fell to just under 2% from 8. So that's great. I'm going to show you basically what the product looks like. And this is,
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
It's very simple. So we have 4 parts. We have our
Looks like a
dropper.
pregnancy test.
It's exactly what it is. It's very, very close.
Don't get it confused.
So this, my 3rd and 4th graders have used the test themselves. I mean, I test them basically once a week personally, because I coach and we're still trying to get some of that, interaction for the kids. So we just try to stay safe by that way. Very simple nasal swab. We're going to put it into the buffer. We do a couple swishes and then we add the dropper to the tip, and then we put a couple of drops just below that QR code. And we go 1, 2, 3 drops. And then within, honestly, 3 to 4 minutes, we're going to start to see a full, the C line is going to be your control line. That's going to tell you that the test strip was effective. And then the T will let you know if we have that antigen for the virus in our system.
All right, sounds easy to me. And Rob, I think this gives everybody a nice little overview. I have 3 districts committed to piloting and working with you, starting next week.
Great.
So I'll send this to them over the weekend and get things going. Because as Nicole said, it's been a disaster with some of these sports and cheer and other sports.
The other piece is that this is intriguing to me. It's like this morning we've got an employee that's out with symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do they go get tested? And if they go down to Yuba County and get tested, it's going to take a week, and then they're out a week. So being able to have them at least use this as a first step is
it really is the go-to for screening. Obviously, PCR is still, it is sought after for diagnosis. So that's the next step. Basically, is that if it comes up positive on an antigen test, then you would instruct them to go get a PCR. But PCR really does not serve a purpose for screening. It is not a screening tool. And even every professional will tell you that. It's the reason why the NHL almost lost their season. I mean, they were continuing to go PCR and they continued to lose players and cancel games when those individuals were no longer contagious at all. So they've switched over to the rapid antigen test with us, and they're thrilled that they did that. So we're here, just so you know, Medea is here to help each and every one of you individually, however you need it. So, we can handle and scale any fashion. We're doing 3,000 venue events with Dr. Miskovich in our network, 3,000. So we're doing Stagecoach, large events, small events. That's not our forte.
Hey, can you get Nicole and I some Stagecoach tickets? I need to hear some country music live.
You got it.
Make it happen. Hey, listen, thanks. I'm going to stop the recording and stick around. I got a few questions to ask you. And thanks so much.
Sure.
And you too, Nicole. And let me just hit the stop recording here and not delete it.